Hi everyone. I hope everyone had a really fun month creating some beautiful, awesome stuff. And I thought it would just be fun to go over or show all the layouts that I was able to complete for the month of June and July. I was a busy little beaver, but I have such a backload of photographs that I need to get done, so I really need to get busy. So anyway, I'm working out of two albums. One is more current and one is older. I also have some Project Life things that are like a work in progress in here. But we're just going to go over some of the layouts that I've made the past 2 months. And I think it'll be fun because I'll get to look at them again. So starting with book 1, I have this layout that I did do a video for, my sweet little delights of my youngest child when she was about 4 years old, eating some ice cream, and I had a lot of fun doing this one. When I found that picture on a old hard drive that I found, I thought I had lost these pictures forever, but I found them and that was really awesome. So I really like the way this one turned out. Now I do use a D-ring binder instead of post bound. The reason being, I don't scrap like in chronological order. So although I did have post-bound albums that I used, moving my layouts back and forth, it was just really becoming a problem. So I just decided to use the D-ring. That way I can just open it up, put the layout exactly where it belongs in chronological order, and close it up. So I don't have to worry about trying to scrap in order. I can scrap however I want, but still have my albums being in some type of order. So I have that one of Little Stacy Poo, and then I did this, which also had a video for, on my amazing and awesome daughter, her first day of 2nd grade. This one was a lot of fun for me to make as well because I just love that little face. Then another picture from her first day in 2nd grade, but this one I did as a 5.5 by 8.5 layout. This is one that I scrap lifted from Missy Whedon with the scalloped page that we got out of our, I think it was June Hip Club kits. Again, I just kind of like the simplicity of it. Sometimes with a smaller layout, it just looks a lot more done with a lot less embellishment. So this was fun. I also used tissue paper to do these little ruffles, and I do have a video of that as well. Then I have another 5.5 by 11 layout, and this is from one of the trips that we took when we were stationed in Germany. We went to a place called Eider Oberstein one day for a day trip, and it was raining that day, and that's my now 15-year-old when she was 4. And I used a page from a kit that I got in, I don't know, probably about 10 years ago, just one of those page kits that you get at Walmart or whatnot. But when I found this picture, somehow I remembered that I had it, and I remembered that it had umbrellas for rainy days. And I thought that that was perfect, considering that she's holding an umbrella in this photo. I did not do a video of this one, I just kind of made it one day. I was just in the mood, and I did. I really liked the hearts and the colors, and that rainy days embellishment I think was really awesome. And it's fun for me to see her when she was that little and so sweet. On the back, again, I just used another bit of that heart paper and another one of the embellishments that came in that kit. And this is just a picture of my oldest and youngest daughter outside of a fountain in Eider Oberstein, and one of my best friend's son, my best friend and her son came with us on this trip, and that's him. But I don't have a lot of them in this scrapbook. I haven't gotten to them yet, but that's who that little boy is. Anyway, that was a fun day, and it was rainy. Then I decided to try to get some of these pictures done. I did kind of just do a Project Life layout, and I didn't trim up the photos very much. I just printed a lot in 4x6 and then others in wallet size. And the reason for that is I don't really want to trim up these beautiful pictures I took in Germany, but I do want to document our trip, and I also just need to get them off my computer and into an album. So sometimes doing these project life layouts, especially when you have a huge backlog of photos, is a really fun, fast way to get your memories into your albums and off of your computer or out of your photo storage box. So for the journaling, I kind of just took a white piece of cardstock and I cut it to 4x6. I used some washi tape, and then I just typed in my Word document using a font that I liked, just a little bit about the day. So if you don't know about Ida Oberstein, they do have a church that is in the mountain, and there's a fun, creepy story that goes along with that. But one of the biggest things was that it started raining that day, and of course we did not have umbrellas. So I ended up having to buy an umbrella for everyone because no one could really share. Anyways, that was page 1 of that. Then along that trip we also went to Bastogne, which is in Belgium. It's part of where the Battle of the Bulge was. It was really cool when we saw that tank, when we got to City Square and we saw a tank. That was really fun. But again, just a 4x6 cardstock, and I just kind of wrote a little bit about Bastogne and what it is, and just these fun pictures of the kids. Then we went on to Brussels. So I guess I don't really remember taking this picture of the city center, the city sign, but I'm kind of happy I did because I think it was a good introduction to where we are now. For this layout, these are not Project Life cards. It was just some old papers that I had from a paper stack, and I just cut them down to size just to kind of put the pictures behind on something. But they look kind of flourishy and kind of old world in the colors, and I thought that it went really well with what I was documenting right here. And here's more from pictures from Brussels. And I took this picture because it's Place St. Catherine and my name is Catherine, so I thought that was fun when we did that. Then we decided to head to Paris, and I had totally forgot that we'd even done this until I found the pictures where we stopped at a rest stop in France and we ordered French fries so we could eat French fries in France because we thought that was really, really cool. So again, I wanted to document it, but I didn't necessarily want to do a whole 12x12 layout, and I didn't necessarily want to have 4 very, very similar pictures in a Project Life layout. So I just did a 5.5 by 8.5 layout. Very simple, white background. I just drew with Sharpie around the outside, and just wallet sized, I just kind of put the photos down, and then again on my Word document using a typewriter font, I just said on our way to Paris we stopped so we could eat French fries in France. Too cool. And that was really fun. So on the back side of that 5.5 by 8.5 layout, I decided that I was going to use this picture I had of the sign on the Autobahn that we saw that had Paris. So in my Word document I just wrote a little journaling. I found a clip art of the Eiffel Tower in the back, and since it's 5.5 by 8.5, I could just put this straight into my printer, print it out, just use some cardstock that I had left over from another project, put the picture down with a little sticker that I had from, it had to be in at least 12 years ago, that just says Destination Paris, France. And I really like that. And what I also like about this is in my albums, everything's not a 12x12 page. Since it's D-ring, I can put all sorts of sizes in here, and it just adds a bit of interest and dimension and elements to my scrapbook. So when we got to Paris, I had taken this picture of the Eiffel Tower, and actually I was driving, but the Eiffel Tower was on the driver's side, and it was hard for my friend Tasha to get a good picture of it all lit up like that. So as we were driving in front, I just rolled down the sunroof. I opened the sunroof up at my car at the time, and I just held the camera out of the sunroof, couldn't even see what I was taking a picture of, and this is what I ended up taking. and I love it, but that's why right here, in this picture right here, you can see my sunroof. So I printed that out in 8x10 and cut it to size to fit in these wallet size page protectors. But these two frames were just nothing but black. And while yes, it was nighttime and it was black, I figured that I could just put a picture of just me standing in front of the Eiffel Tower and a picture of my girls in front of the Eiffel Tower, and it kind of goes together. I don't have anything on the back yet. I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do with that. So then I did a Project Life layout of us on top of the Eiffel Tower. My oldest daughter, Cassie, was not happy. She thought it was too high. But there's just a picture of us, picture of me. They went and played at a playground right outside the Eiffel Tower. That was really fun. And then, of course, the views from the Eiffel Tower. Paris is beautiful. Then we had gone to the Louvre, so I just journaled a bit about the Louvre and how we got to see the Mona Lisa, and how my oldest daughter says that Mona Lisa is smiling. So if you ever wondered if she's smiling or not, my daughter Cassie said yes she is. And so here are just some photos from the Louvre, which I really liked. I do have a couple more pictures of the girls chasing pigeons outside the Louvre, because that's kind of what they did on that whole trip, was chase pigeons everywhere we went. But I'm going to do either an 8.5 by 11 or a 12 by 12 spread of those pictures. So, and this starts what I have, this was from a while ago. I did these pages quite a bit ago. When I first, must have been 2012 when I first heard of Project Life. So those are ones that I've done, but we're not going to go over those because I've already done them. And then as you can see, I keep just some blank Project Life page protectors in here. And I have kind of gone through pictures that I have, and I've just kind of already put them in there just so I can just get the journaling cards and all that other stuff down. But although this needs to be moved all the way to the front, this is a page that I did this month. It was Halloween in 2002. It was my youngest daughter's first Halloween. She was a ladybug, super cute. And for this, I just did a very simple page. I had found, I guess that I bought some Halloween embellishments. I don't even know when. It must have been 2003 or 2004. So I decided just to use those on this page with some Halloween theme papers that I'd gotten, I don't know, probably around the same time, 2002 or 2003. Then I scrapped this page of my little Stacy Bug. Pretty simple. I used pattern paper outside. I used some stamping to do a grunge effect. I used actual stamps that I have from Stampin' Up, and I just stamped Merry Christmas, Hope You're Nice, I Love You, and then I just cut them out of the cardstock and put them underneath there. Then this one is another Halloween, which again, this is stamped, this Happy Halloween stamp I had from Stampin' Up. So I just stamped it on cardstock and I just distressed around the edges. And this is me and my oldest. Again, it's a simple page, but I really love these pictures of us together, especially this one where we're just looking at each other. And it just, I love that look on her face. She's so sweet. Then I have one of my Stacy from 2009 on the boat. With this one, I did just some stamping. I wanted to use some of my stamps, so I just kind of stamped around the border here. And that was fun. Again, with this, I wanted to use my stamps, so I used my stamps, and I also did some embossing. So using my handy dandy heat gun, I did some of that. And this was at Disney World, and I also used my stamps from Stampin' Up, and I have one that had Awesome and Day. So I just stamped that on there, and I embossed it with some embossing powder, and that was a lot of fun. Then these pages of Let It Snow I did in 2010, so those were a while ago. And that is it for this book. Let me grab the next one. Okay, grab the other book. So next album. I love the cameras. I think that's so awesome. So in here I do have this one, which was a video, The Art of Shaving. And this was fun to make. And again, it's simple layout, which is very few embellishments. My son's first shave. And I'm so happy that I caught that on film. So I was able to get it. So then I started going back to do Project Life for January, or for 2016. So obviously I started in January. And you'll see, I think I have another picture I need to print out to put here. But I believe there's a video about how I did this. But as you can tell, I just grabbed my Project Life cards that came with the kit. But I noticed I didn't have any pictures of my son. So I started this fun, Where's Tristan? So I could write where he was month to month if I had no pictures of him, because he hides from the camera. So on the back, just more of that. And again, another Where's Tristan? I'd taken a girls' trip to do the Wicked Wine Run in Santa Barbara, so pictures of that, which was really fun. And then March, just some things that happened in March. I tried to journal a lot, and I used a lot of wallet-sized photos so I could get more in the layouts. So this one's from April. Now, my daughter, my youngest daughter, and my son are born 3 days apart in April. So I was looking, and I'm like, I know there's a picture of Tristan, at least blowing out candles on his birthday cake. I'm the awfulest mom in the world for not having one. But we do have one. It's just on my husband's old phone, so I have it downloaded. I just need to print it out, but I did put a picture of Tristan goes here, so I know that it needs to go there. And I did this page of my youngest daughter's first homecoming. I used this, some hip club kit stuff, hip club kit things like these alphas and the papers and the embellishments came from there. But I really liked how this page came together, and I love how she's, when we were taking pictures, she was actually starting to fall. And I just caught her laughing, and I really enjoyed that. Backside, this was my oldest daughter's. This was her homecoming from 2016. And again, I just cut out some flowers from paper that I'd gotten probably in 2004. I just fussy cut around and used alphas from the Hip Club kit to tie that all together. So notice I had stopped like in April of 2016. I still have to do May through November. I have to get there. But I did do Christmas because I had lots of those pictures and they were very recent. I didn't have to search for them. So again, I used a lot of wallet-sized photos so I could really get a lot of this documented. That way, sometimes when it's hard to pick out which pictures to scrap and which ones not, with Project Life, whatever, just do them wallet size. You can still see what's going on, and you can get so many photos in there. Now for the cards, I had bought Project Life cards from Stampin' Up, I believe in 2014, and I had never used them, so I took them out and I got them going on. I love this, me and my parents with our ugly sweaters. For an ugly sweater party, my parents in front of the largest Christmas tree in Arizona. I really like being able to get these pictures of my parents since they do live in another state. I think it's important to be able to document and cherish the times that we were together. So when my children are older, they have those memories to look back on as well. And again, more of December. Getting ready for a Christmas party. We had a progressive Christmas dinner with our neighbors, and we did appetizers and drinks, and my husband made these candy wreaths, and that was a lot of fun. So in December, we're still in December, I tried a spin class. That was fun. Read some books, got some new shoes, my puppies. There's another picture I need to put here. And then I did take out a text message. My mother sent me a text message of that, and she wrote, "Looked, I baked." And I'm like, "What is it?" And she told me it was an effing apple pie. What does it look like? And I'm like, "A round loaf of bread." So sometimes these text messages that we get can be a lot of fun to document, just because it shows the personality and some fun things that happen. So then I started January 2017. I did go visit one of my really best friends, Hope, and we went to LA and saw the Hollywood sign and went to Warner Brothers Studios, and that was a lot of fun. And I have a picture of Tristan. Then in February, we went horseback riding. That was a lot of fun. We went and had crawfish. That was a lot of fun. My dog liked to crawl all over me. So that was good. And on this card, I just took white cardstock, cut it to size. And again, I used one of my stamps for the heart with all the loves and all the different languages. I also did this page of my oldest daughter, which I absolutely adore. I had actually stole that picture from her Snapchat, I believe, and it's black and white, which I love. And I really, I tore the pages for the layers, the layering. I use sprays for the background because this was white cardstock, and I really enjoyed that one. Again, another picture of my daughters. There is a video of how I did this one. I snagged that picture from their Snapchat too. And this was fun. For the sisters, I printed that out with a font that I liked on vellum and then just tucked it in there, and that was a lot of fun. Then we have March for Project Life. Fun. I did go to the Game of Thrones concert. So not only did I do that, and I journaled about it, I kept my ticket and I stuck it in there. So what do you do with tickets and all that other stuff? Well, with Project Life, you just tuck it in the page and you're good to go. Then we have some April. We went to the Arizona Desert Botanical Gardens. That was fun. And I'm losing weight, and I was down 7 pounds, so that was a good thing to do. Now in here I have my daughter's senior awards night, and the program fit perfectly in this 5.5 by 8.5 page protector. So I just kept that, put it in the album, along with her graduation commencement program. It fit in just a letter size page protector, so I just put it in there, put it in the scrapbook. That way we have it. So if you have things like this, think about you don't have to glue them down or whatever. Just get a page protector, put it in your D-ring scrapbook album, and it's there forever. So this, I do have a picture I have to do. I just haven't done yet, but I didn't want to lose it. So in May, I also went to go see New Kids on the Block, the Total Package Tour, and that is my ticket. And safekeeping until I get around to scrapping it. So I did May for my Project Life. I did a picture of me at work, one from my daughter's senior awards night. And I haven't gotten to her graduation pictures yet. I don't think I'm ready to admit that has happened, but they're coming soon. So then we did go on vacation. So I do have quite a few vacation pics, and for these as well, I did some in wallet size, but most I did 4 by 6, just so we could see it. Again, not a whole bunch of embellishing, maybe just a little bit, but not too much. And for this one, I did use a stamp. I have a camera stamp, and so I used it to stamp. And then here are just some things random at home. Like my desk at work I finally got it cleared off, and that was a big deal. Here's a picture of me at the beach. Again, pretty simple. I like the K's for Katie. Here's a lid of my husband and I. We were going to walk on the beach. My mom took that picture with her cell phone. And although it's not the best quality, when you enlarged it a bit, it got kind of blurry. You can still see that it is me. You can still see it as my husband. So even if it's not the best picture in the world, it's okay. I want to document it. So again, if you're taking pictures or you have a picture that you don't think is the best picture in the world, it's okay to go ahead and document it anyway. You don't have to have the most perfect picture or a professional photograph to document your life. When we were on vacation, my dad, my husband, my son and I went on a fishing trip. So this is just 3 pictures of us with the fish that we caught, and that was a lot of fun. This is a layout of my husband and I at the beach, and there's my husband with sunscreen all over his face. I like that, because he never wears sunscreen. So this layout was a lot of fun too. So it is my girls with my mom, and they were teaching my mom how to take a selfie. So I thought that was a lot of fun. And for the background, I actually used kind of a packaging technique. So I just took some packaging wrap, just cellophane basically, and I used my ink pads for my stamps, my stamp and ink pads. I put the packaging on the pad itself, and then I kind of just swirled it around in the back, and I kind of like how that all went together. Again, I used a lot of the elements I got from my June Hip Club kit for this, including this gold flamingo, which I really dig, and I like how the smile kind of goes over it. Can't show you that picture because my mother has requested that no one sees a picture of her in a bathing suit, but I like it. Here is a layout. There is a video for this one when I was asking my mom where we're going, and she told me we were going left instead of we were going to the beach. So that one was a lot of fun. And again, I used papers that I had gotten at least 7 or 8 years ago. So what I'm really happy about is I'm starting to use up some of my supplies, which I really need to do. I have too many of them. And I will give you a craft room tour coming up soon. I will be doing one and showing you how I store all my stuff. I don't have as much as a lot of people, but I probably have more than I'm ever going to use in my lifetime, unless I get very prolific. So there was that. So then we got June. So in June, it was very hot here in Phoenix. So I did print off just from the weather app what it was, along with the fact we forgot we had candles outside and they melted. And my husband's swim goggles for the pool, they melted too out there. So that was pretty bad. It was pretty hot. So my daughter and I did go in June to her freshman orientation for college. So I have that all documented from that trip, along with the little card we got. Congratulations that she's NAU bound. And a fun story is that kid right there was actually our NAU ambassador that walked us around NAU and told us all about how awesome NAU was. So that's a lot of fun. We got July, which I use these cards, the journaling cards and whatnot I got from my July Hip Club kit. So July was a lot of airport time for us. So on one day, we dropped my daughter off at the airport to go visit family in Texas. And about an hour after we dropped her off, we picked up my son, who's coming back from visiting family in Oklahoma. So that was a lot of fun. And then just about a week ago, my youngest daughter, she had been in Texas since the 12th of June. We hadn't seen her and almost 8 weeks. And so when she got off the plane and came running down, my husband got this picture of us hugging, and I really, really love her face, her expression. It's great. The Game of Thrones came on in July, and so I went with one of my friends to a premiere party. We played trivia. I love trivia. It's my jam, and I won free honey because I knew all the answers. That's right. If you have any Game of Thrones questions, you can put them in the comments, and we can talk about it forever. So on the back, my son did get his very first car, so there's a picture of him driving it. And there's us where he's driving me, so that's fun. Went to the grocery store. My husband ended up having a bag of groceries, so I just snapped a picture of him doing that. I also did a fun Instagram story about how I found a really sexy bagger, and yeah, that was a lot of fun on my Instagram story. So if you're not following me on Instagram, you might want to do that. The link is below to my Instagram account. Let's hang out. We can talk. We can share stories and be fun. I did do a video on this one where one of my good friends, Virginia, went to New Orleans where my mom is, and my mother met her at the airport, made her a fancy sign and everything. That is I really, really enjoyed scrapping this because, again, it shows my grandchildren, my children, the type of person my mother is, and that's something that I want to remember, and I want to remember these little moments, and that's why scrapbooking is so important to me, is to remember those little moments. And then, of course, there's a video for this page as well. It is for my YouTube videos, my new YouTube channel, and the new tripod I got so my camera can angle straight down instead of being tilted. And that was super duper exciting for me. I had a lot of fun making this. Basically, I just used my Word document and I just found the numbers that I wanted, and then I just drew a circle over it with some lines using the shapes, printed them out and put them in the film strip. I made this film strip using a die that I got from Stampin' Up! A couple years ago. I just cut 4 of them out and then glued them together, and that was actually fun for me to make as well. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. That is all of the pages that I got done in June and July. Quite a bit, but hopefully August and September I get even more done so I can get these photos off of a computer, out of photo storage boxes, and into my albums so I can enjoy them, my family can enjoy them, my poor friends that come over, I can force them to look at all my scrapbook pages to relive my memories. You know, that's what we do. Actually, just so they're in an album, so if I want to look at them, I can just open it up, see all the wonderful memories, and don't have to go searching through a box or an online folder. So, until next time, keep creating beautiful things, and seriously, follow me on Instagram, I'd love to connect with you there, and comment below. Really, Game of Thrones. If you like Game of Thrones and I like Game of Thrones, we can be besties. So comment below your coolest theory you have about what's going to happen.